before. Ever since a kid, it's been patching skulls. Black and white, you see it on my flags and poles. I'm a raider, baby, you ain't gotta ask to know. I'm a raider, baby, you ain't gotta ask to know. I'm a raider, baby, you ain't gotta ask to know. I'm a raider, baby, you ain't gotta ask.
Salute to the nation.
Salute, salute.
That is such a good song. Gets me going every time.
You should
Pumps
have
me up.
saw me dancing. I was getting it too. I was getting it. Yep,
I
yep,
always
yep.
go like this. I'm not a good dancer, but I gotta.
Yep, say likewise, likewise. What's going on, nation? What's going on, Holly? How you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
Good. We have a good one today, don't you think?
Yes, we do. We got. I like to say that he's right up there with the Violator, because you see this guy on TV.
Yeah, true, true.
And I do need to get with Violator and see if I can get Violator on here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we have a special guest today, guys. Person who is near and dear to Holly and I, to the NWA crowd, to the nation itself. A person that, if you want to know about the history, about the lore of what it means to be a Raider, about what it means to wear the silver and black, what it meant back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and so forth, going to the future. We're going to talk about the past, we're going to talk about the present, and talk about the future of how this person feels. So, Holly, I'll let you handle the rest, and I'll bring out our guest when you finish your introduction.
Well, this guy is he like Kush said, he is real near and dear to us, and he also is right up there with the Violator. You know, he has a lot of history with the Raiders, and he's very, very intelligent when it comes to the Raiders. So if you guys can give a big, big warm welcome to Mr. Captain Jack.
Hello, everybody. How you doing? And wow, that's a hell of an intro. But I can only say there's only one Violator, just like there's only one nation.
That's right. But you're right up there. You're right up there with them. I see, like, I remember watching all these games, and I see you. I see you. Not only do I see Violator, but I also see you. So you're right up there with him in my
And that
heart.
hat is clean. And that hat is clean, brother. I love it, man. I love that hat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
actually,
is.
I was like, wow, I don't have a hat on, and I have I don't know if you can see all the hats I have over here.
Oh
So
yeah.
I
Oh
said,
yeah.
I gotta get a hat on. We're having technical difficulties today because normally in front of me would be my computer, and I've never had this happen before. I turned it on, and I hear beep 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 beep, and I'm not. It goes on and on. So I'm not going to inundate you with the rest of that, but I have no clue what happened to it, so I got to bring it over to the Geek Squad tomorrow, and hopefully it is not dead. That's all I'm worried about. Hopefully it's not dead.
Yep, yep, yep. That when it starts making them weird sounds, that's not good. That may be the last sound that it ever makes right there.
Yeah, I'm hoping not, because it's like I got a lot of stuff on there, and I don't know if they can save it. So everybody keep your fingers crossed, because I'm supposed to have a show on Wednesday for my regular shows on YouTube, the Wild Wild West show on 7:30, and at 9:00 we're having a special NFL Nation live show at 9:00 for the schedule release. And unless things change, I'm either going to have to get my laptop squared away, which will be better than using the phone that you see in front of you. But hopefully we'll get something available, because otherwise it's going to be me looking at you on my phone like I'm doing now. And unfortunately, when Holly came up and said, "Hey, you want to do an interview?" I'm like, "Hey, I can do an interview right now, but apologies for just having the phone ready."
No
It's
worries.
okay. You don't have to apologize. You are a rock star.
I can't. I'm gonna blush in a minute, man. This is you're making me feel good. But again, I'm just I kind of like want to do like the like a montage from Robert Downey Jr. I'm just an old dude. That's another old dude. That's a Raider fan who's an old dude. You know, kind of like like you did in that movie. So obviously paraphrasing, but yeah, just an old Raider fan.
I hear that. When did you get your start? How many years? Just to clear, I know Holly's gonna have some questions, but how many years, I guess, and then we can get into your start, but how many years, just for our people that are viewing this, how many years have you been affiliated with the Raider Nation?
Well, I've been a Raider fan since 1972, and I was living in Philadelphia, and I went to school with George Blanda's either nephew or great nephew, and I remember, he said, "Hey, man, you got to check out my uncle, and he plays for the Raiders," and I'm like, "Cool." So I started watching Raider games because Raider games in the 70s, they almost always were the 4 o'clock game on NBC. That's when NBC had the ASC broadcast. I know it's changed since then, but NBC had the broadcast. It was like Kurt Gowdy and Al, I think it was Al DiCamillis was his name, but those two guys were the two front men for the broadcast on NBC. And because the Raiders were the Raiders of the 70s, almost always they would be the premier 4 o'clock game on NBC. So I started watching them, and I fell in love with that right there. They had that awesome logo. They had great uniforms, and they kicked ass, and they took names. And so I was a fan since '72. And when Franco Harris, may he rest in peace, but when Franco's immaculate deception ruined the year for Raider fans all over.
I agree.
That is true. That is true. So, also, I have a few questions. You were there in the draft this year, right?
Yeah, I even got some FaceTime, which was pretty cool.
So, what was your favorite part about the whole?
My favorite part of the whole draft was the fact that the Raiders did not screw up a pick. And and you might think, that's so basic, but it is so basic. I've been to other drafts before where I love my friend, Callie Mark, who became a meme in Nashville. He was actually like 3 people down from me in Nashville when in the first round, we picked Cleve Farrell, and everybody has that. They know that meme of the Raider fan. That's Callie Mark. And he looked like this, like, huh? Like, who did we just pick? Because
was that the Cleve? Yeah, I remember that. Now. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like this year we did not have a head scratcher for a pick. I mean, granted, we picked the best defensive player available at 7, who blew away the combine, in our boy Wilson. At the second round, where I got a lot of FaceTime on camera, we picked Mayer, the tight end out of Notre Dame, who was the best tight end in the draft. I know he didn't get picked in the first round like another tight end did, but he was the best tight end in the draft, in my estimation, and a lot of other people's estimation. He could block, he can run, he can catch. They called him Baby Gronk, for a reason. And, when he was available and we went up and got him, we traded up for him. We got the best tight end there. And that's the other thing that was good in this draft is the fact that Raiders had, I think it was 12 picks overall. I might be mistaken, but they used the extra picks that they had. They maneuvered up and down to grab the player that they needed. Okay, we moved up and picked up Mayer. We moved up and we picked up O'Connell, the quarterback, who a lot of people were high on. They moved up to get the cornerback out of Maryland, whose name escapes me. And on my show the other night, I was going back and forth with one of my regulars who's a Giants fan. And he's like, well, he wasn't the first round pick, so he must not have been that, there's a reason why. And I'm like, okay, this is the type of ignorance that I get really upset at, is that when people just shoot things out of their mouth and they don't get it. Okay. Would you think that Max Crosby, who is probably one of the best defensive ends in football right now, would he be worthy of a first round pick if you were to redo the draft now? Yeah. And that was the same draft that we picked Cleve Farrell, So it's like, just because they were picked in a different round does not indicate what their status is, what their stock is, what they will do in the NFL. So just because we picked the other Maryland cornerback in round 4, and they picked up the guy who was obviously a quote unquote top cornerback in the first round, is not indicative of how their careers will be in the NFL. And that's what you got to remember. The draft is a scientific crapshoot. There's no other way around it. You get information about people, and you put that information into your computers, and you have your scouts, and you have all the people that are there, and you get the best people available that will fit what you are trying to do. And that's why I said the best thing about this draft is that the Raiders did not blow a pick. They went up, they got people that they wanted. And, they said, well, this guy was available, that guy was available. But you know what? They cleaned up in the draft. And then even the next day for the undrafted free agents, they picked up 2 real mountains at offensive line that'll probably be starting for them. And they got another corner. They got another safety. They got another linebacker. They got key elements that will be on this team, if not this year, what they think that they are going to be building this team with. And I give a Bravo Zulu, that's Navy talk, for good on you and an attaboy to Dave Ziegler and the whole staff.
That's right. I agree with you 100%. That was a really good draft. So, who's your favorite Raider of all time?
Yeah, people ask me that, and I kind of deflect that. If you've been around as long as I have been, you have favorites. You can't just go down to one guy. Okay, I'm sorry, I can't do that. And you can say, well, you can go offense and defense. I said, yeah, but I've seen the Raiders and been a fan of theirs for over 50 years. You're not going to peg me down to just one guy. I can't do it. But I mean, I love Phil Villapiano, and I love Howie Long. In fact, I think that, again, I'm going to show you some of my room here. It's a little bit messy, but there's Todd Christensen there, and there's Jim Otto that's over there. You got Howie Long up there, and Ray Guy. Hopefully you guys can see this as well. And you got the whole Raiders cornucopia of people that are sitting here in my room, and you can't really, just put it down to one person. I'm not sure what you guys are able to see right now, but this is my Raider room, and this is what I go to when I want to have some good times in my studio. I'm in my element right here.
I love it.
What about, let's talk about, eras, because I know that, and I'm not talking about your favorite era. I'm talking about being a 50-year Raider fan, a 50-year Raider fan veteran. Have you seen a change? And I'll like say, my apologies, Jack. I get right to the tough questions, brother. I get right to the good ones. You know what
That's
I mean?
fine.
What looking at the era of 50 years, has there been a change, or has the Raider Nation always been consistently the same in your opinion? And if not, what was the changes throughout the years that you've seen?
Well, I will say that the Raider Nation is consistently impatient. That goes without saying, because the Raiders were so good for so long that, you know, when they had I can't remember. I mean, the 70s, they were always on top. They were always on top. Now,
Yeah.
granted, they only had one Super Bowl to get out of there, but before they won that one Super Bowl, they always lost to the eventual Super Bowl champion, be they either the Dolphins or the Steelers back then. So they had that commitment to excellence, the pride and poise and the swagger that you had during the 70s. But then when you got into the 80s, then you had a little bit of the dissipation after they picked up their two Super Bowls. You know, obviously the Super Bowl win over the Eagles in Super Bowl 15, and then the coup de grace, Super Bowl 18, where they beat the crap out of the Redskins 38-9. There was a bit of a drop off after that, and it took, you know, what was it, 30 years or so for the Raiders to even get back to the Super Bowl after that Super Bowl victory in Super Bowl 18. And then, of course, you know, they crapped the bed. I'm going to make sure my language is good for this broadcast. But it's been highs and lows. But I would say that after the Super Bowl, our third Super Bowl, when we beat the Redskins in '83, there's been a lot of people that have been like, well, what's going on? What's going on? You know, we are the Raiders. We should be the best team. And I still believe that as well. But you have to understand that the NFL has changed so much since the 80s. There's been the age of computers and in the age of people with getting all their scouting reports and the teams actually logging together. And the Raiders, for many years, it was always the Raiders and 31 other teams. We didn't buy into what the rest of the NFL was doing. That was good, but it was also bad because we were behind in a lot of the ways that the NFL grew and thrived on. So when they had the people that were consistently powerhouses in those days, we were behind in that respect. So it took a while to do that. So and getting to where I know this is going, okay, yes, there are many people, including me, that finds it very, very hard to swallow that the management of the Raiders right now under Mark Davis, and by the way, folks, Mark Davis is not the owner, Mom is. So always remember that. Mark gets to take the toy out of the box and play with it, but Mom Carol, Al's widow, is the owner of the Raiders. So things could change like that when Carol passes, but we'll see that. We'll see that for another conversation. But the point is that the Raiders are getting to a point nowadays where they're coming into where everybody else is. They're employing different thought processes. When Mark was got the ownership the first time, he asked John Madden, he asked Ken Herrock, he asked the other gentleman that's in the Hall of Fame that was the Packers GM, whose name escapes me. He was the Raiders GM or the Raiders de facto GM for so long. He asked them who should be the general manager, and all three of them said Reggie McKenzie. Okay, so he reached out because he knew he did not have the football acumen that his father did. So he reached out to people that he trusted, and we got Reggie McKenzie. Now, did Reggie do a good job? Well, he did a hell of a job in contracts, but he did a really crappy job in his draft picks. But the point being is that when Mark has taken this team, he's brought them into the present and where a lot of other teams are. Okay. And that's a little bit to swallow. And when he turned it over to Gruden, you know, he wanted Gruden to come back and get back to the glory that they had. And John takes a bit to get used to, whether you're a fan of his or not. I like John personally as far as the fire that he had, but I always found John Gruden to be so frustrating because he would never go for the jugular, put your foot on the throat and stomp. He was always too conservative, and that kind of bit us in the ass for several years. And unfortunately, John got caught up in aspects of the situation that came down with Dan Snyder's BS with the NFL, and he got waylaid. And so now we find, after the Gruden era, after Bisaccia took us to the playoffs on smoke and mirrors, by the way, because a lot of those wins were very, very tight, we turn over the organization, okay, to Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler of the Patriots. And again, it's hard to swallow, even for me, but I will say, if you're going to turn over the organization to somebody and you do your due diligence, right, at least turn it over to somebody that comes from an organization of winning. It still remains to be seen whether this is a good move or a bad move. And that's why, again, the impatience of Raider fans needs to calm down. It needs to continue. You might be put on boil, but put it down to a simmer, because it's going to take a couple years for McDaniels to rub off and get the organization and the team that he wants. It's going to take a few years for Dave Ziegler to provide him the cogs in the machine to make things happen. Will it happen this year? Hopefully there will be, an ascension. We got 6 wins last year. Anything over 6 is an improvement. And that's what you need to have in front of you, an improvement, a definitive number, okay? If you see an improvement, that's a good thing. Even if the Raiders come back to maybe 5 or 4 wins, if they are playing together as a team, that's still an improvement. You got to let this process go through for the full 3 years. If you don't, you're just going to start over again, either this upcoming year or the year following, and you're not going to know what happened. I will say that McDaniels, when he was the coach in Denver and got the rug taken out from him halfway through year 2, he was the person to put together the core of that franchise. When added with Peyton Manning, went and won Super Bowls. So he can do the job if he's given the opportunity and the time. And I'm sure that's where you were going with that, Kush, correct?
He had to take a call.
Oh, okay.
He'll be right back.
All right. Well, like I said, that was my normal long-winded, diatribe. But the people that know my show know that I can go off on some long-winded tangents.
So, what's your expectations of this season? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, I mean, we're all not Nostradamus, so we can expect to have things that happen that are good, bad, or indifferent. But again, I see this as the pivotal year in putting together the franchise under Josh's thought process. I see improvements that can be made. I think that we're going to get younger. I see that we are becoming more versatile. I think we're going to be a better team, and hopefully the record will indicate that. One of the important factors that is still an unknown at this point, Josh Jacobs is yet to sign his franchise tag. And without Jacobs and I say this, without Josh Jacobs or the collateral that we will get for Josh Jacobs, if he is in fact a non-Raider this year, remains to be seen. I'd like to see Josh sign, but honestly, I'll take 2 1s or some more collateral for Josh to continue building this franchise. And again, I know that's sacrilege to a lot of people, but the way that the New England franchises have been winning for years and years, the running back was a minor figure in how that franchise was winning. Yes, they had a running game, but it was not a big powerhouse workaholic back for the most part. And they won with a bevy of running backs doing the job. And I think that hopefully we'll see something soon with Josh. But also, I think that we got some really good young talent in Zeus. I saw what he did at Georgia. So I think that he can be more than capable of coming in and taking the reins if need be. the other kids that we got, I'm sorry, kids, the other players that we got that have experience, you know, with Jacob Johnson at fullback, the other gentleman whose name escapes me, it's a New England product, and even, you know, the draft choice of Britton Brown, along with the running back that was on IR last year, whose name escapes me as well, who is dynamic, and he can come in and take over for the games as well. So we got people that can do the job. So we'll see what happens. But the defense is going to get better. I tell you that the defensive line is gotten a lot better just on sheer, not experience, but sheer potential. We're still a little light in the defensive backfield. I think that they had, Marcus Peters was in for a visit today. I think that we need to have another cornerback signed. And I think that depending upon how they run the linebacking core, I would say that, maybe another linebacker. But, if we're running a 4-2-5 or a 3-2-6 for the majority of our defensive snaps, as long as you have the two good linebackers, that's what you need, because the linebackers may not be as necessary as people think, as long as you have the players to plug into that system.
So, do you think that they're going to end up signing Josh Jacobs?
I think so, but again, things can happen. I think that Josh is definitely seeing what the offers are, or where the he knows what he's going to be making. I think that the Raiders would be smart to get maybe I think the tag is like 10.1 or 10.3. I think that we might sign him for a 3-year deal, maybe averaging out to 13 a year, maybe 10, 13, and 15 in the year in upcoming. But we'll see, and hopefully that'll happen. But again, if it doesn't, we'll probably have to use the picks and or the players and picks that we would get for him. I'd like to see Josh back. Josh wants to be a Raider. I'd like to see him be a Raider. But sometimes I think that maybe if you get those, if they're asking if it's 2 first-round picks, sometimes I'm like, yeah, those 2 first-round picks, especially upcoming, when there's a bevy of quarterbacks available that are young starting next year, that would be nice collateral to have. So we'll see what happens.
So what do you think of? Oh, sorry, you go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I had to jump off real quick. I had a call. My apologies.
It's okay.
I really apologize for that. Question, and a non-current Raider related, because I want to ask a question more directed towards you as well, Jack, if you don't mind, man.
Sure.
What is, and we see a lot of different personalities on YouTube. We see a lot of people that wear the same colors, and we support the same team. And I look at you, and on your channel, man, you have a very, very diverse group of people that you talk to. You talk to people from, all over the different division on the West Coast and the AFC. On your time here on YouTube, number one, what got you started on YouTube, and what's your biggest accomplishment in YouTube so far?
I don't really think I've accomplished anything on YouTube. Be honest. I mean, I'd like to. I personally, I aspire to have more people come in and talk sports with me, because unlike there are people that are here on YouTube that is their job, and I won't say the names here, but they have thousands and thousands of subscribers because that is their sole job in the world. And so they take it as their job. My job, I work for the government. So being on YouTube is a is a sidelight. It's something that I do for the sheer enjoyment.
Absolutely.
I would like to have more people pop in to talk with me. And Raider fans for sure. But you know what? I'm a sports guy, and I enjoy talking sports 365. Actually, 366 in a leap year. I will talk sports anytime, anywhere, at just the way it is. So I would love to do that, and Raiders especially. But this is the time of year where there's not a lot of there's not a lot to talk about in football, because we're all chomping at the bit to find out what we got going on. We're waiting on OTAs. We're waiting on to see if Josh Jacobs is going to sign. We're waiting on different things that we have no control over. And with that time limit is something that makes the time go by slow. So what I consider a positive for me is having the shows that I do to talk to the people out there, and hopefully the word gets out that, hey, if you're not subscribed, please come in and subscribe and come in and talk with me about what you have to talk about. And here's the other thing as well. I did a show last night, and there was a gentleman that was I don't want to say he was negative, but he had a negative view of about what the franchise is doing presently. And he said, hey, I don't see this franchise winning more than 5 games this year. So we would be 5-12. And everybody went, oh my God, a naysayer, throw this guy out. It's blasphemous for him to have those views. But he put about his views, and he gave the reasons why. Now, it was his reasons were either wrong or right, but I like to have that rapport with people, because the next guy came in and said, well, I think we're going to win 12 games this year. And so I like that, the fact that there's diversity in what people can talk about. There's diversity in the fact that not all Raider fans come in to talk on my show. I have like Patriot fans, and I have a Giants fan that's a little bit younger, that's sometimes I have to put them on timeout because I just it's the age and the smugness kind of gets to me. But it's great to have a program where different people with different views can talk about what they think is most important. So I don't really, again, the question is, what is my biggest accomplishment on YouTube? One of these days I will have more people to talk about on my show, where instead of giving somebody 5 minutes to talk sports, I'm going to say, hey, you got 3 minutes. And it's because there will be more and more people coming in and talking on the show, and that I will have to cut the time. That is when I think that the channel will be more accomplished. When I can say, hey, you only got 2.5 minutes to give me your thoughts, kind of like what they do in talk radio, then I know that is successful.
Yeah, man, I like that. I can see that with your show. I've popped in a couple times in the comments and stuff, and you're always really welcoming, even for a new guy, because as a new person, when you see a channel, and like you said, the people that will go without being named on this channel today, but we know the guys with 1,000+ following, they don't invite people unless you have to pay to be able to hear their opinions or get their views across. I'm curious, what was that first day like when you were like, all right, that's it, I'm going on YouTube and I'm gonna do this? How did that? Can you tell us what were some of the thought process in between getting your page started? Was there something that happened that motivated you to do it, or was it just like a random fluke? It looks like you were prepared for it your whole life from looking at your room, though. But I'm curious to hear about how that transpired.
Well, honestly, I was doing Facebook videos at various times. I would be going live on Facebook as myself, and I did shows with a couple people on Facebook back in the way day. Things happened, and I'm not going to go into exactly what happened, but I eventually figured out that know what, I need to do this by myself, because there was some friction, and I said, well, you know what, I'm going to go over to YouTube, where I know that I can put my platform in there. And even on YouTube, I've done shows with people who shall remain nameless that I don't associate with anymore because of various reasons why, which I won't go into. And I try to make sure that it's a good thing all the way around. But sometimes you find out things about people. And by the way, it's not who you think I might be talking about. I actually was doing shows with as a co-host, and I'm like, yeah, this is not cool. So. There are times that, you find things out after the fact, and, it's like, this person is an a-hole. And, I was doing shows on them as a third wheel. And then I'm like, no, I'm not going to be on your show anymore, dude. It's like, because you're not worth my time. So,
I've experienced
again,
that this weekend, Shaq.
I said, you might think you know who I'm talking about, but for those that know me, I've done shows with people, and again, I don't do shows with them anymore.
Gabe.
Yeah. That seems to be the thing, though. It seems like a lot of people that we talk to, they will get their start and they won't finish with that same platform or the people that they started with. So I'm always curious to see the ones that, may have been rocking with each other since day one, or how that relationship transpired. Is there anything that you took from that you could tell the audience and me and Holly that, hey, look, you got to not do this, or you have to do that? Is there anything that you learned from those experiences at all, or are you just happy that you got out of it with your sanity?
I would say the latter. I mean, I do shows on Wednesday with a crew of 3 other guys, and sometimes it changes if people aren't there. But the Wild Wild West show, hey, when you get 4 AFC West people in a room talking about the AFC West, and we hate each other's teams. We can't stand each other's teams, but there is a great rapport there. And we have a great crew for the Wild Wild West show. And then during the season, we got for NFL Nation Live, it's myself and Violator and Ref Guru. Great shows because we have good rapport there as well, where we talk about the entire NFL week by week, go over the past week and then go over and do the future. Fantastic shows there. And then I also do a show with 2 to 3, depending upon the season, ladies. And the ladies have very great Raider knowledge, and that's, DC Peggy Holmes and also Kevlar Prom Dress Heidi, who's up in Alaska. And we have great shows by the ladies, and I try not to be a big portion of that show because I want it to be a ladies show. I want it to be ladies night, and that's every other Tuesday during the season. And I've done shows with OG, and we'll see if we can pick that back up this year, to be determined. But I'm going to have my show on Sunday. I'm going to have my show on Thursday. So you're going to get me for 2 hours on Sunday and Thursday. And then the other shows, come on by and check out the content and have a great time with it as well.
That's beautiful, man. That's absolutely beautiful. One more question, too. I hate to, make it all about you, but it is uninterrupted, and it's all about you, Jack. I can tell you don't like to talk about yourself. It's all about other people and the nation. I love to see that, but I am curious. You have some great ideas for shows, man. What strikes your ideas? Where do you come up with these ideas from your show? Do you does your household tell you, hey, you know what, we see you on your live, you should do this? Do you get your directions from somebody else, or do you just wake up one day and like, hey, you know what, I think this is what the nation needs, I'm going to provide that experience for them?
Well, I mean, I can say that I've lucked into, and I would say I've lucked into being with the NFL Nation Live crew with Violator and Ref Guru. I got a chance to talk to Ref in the airport in Indianapolis a couple years ago, and he said that he did a show with Violator, and then about the next year, I came on for a couple segments, and then I guess I stuck like glue because we've been going well since then. with the Wild Wild West guys, that's been a little over a year. And I tell you, we have really good rapport with the Wild Wild West, and with the ladies. I wanted to do a show with ladies that actually know what the hell they're talking about. That'll be a little bit of a hint as to one of my bad experiences where was with somebody who really had
I was
no
gonna say
no
that sounds
clue.
like in order for you to know what's going on to have a good experience, there must have been a bad experience there.
There you
Let's
go.
hear
There you
that.
go. And I tell you what, with Peggy and Heidi and Angria, when she has a chance to join us, these ladies know more about the Raiders and have forgotten more than a lot of people know on purpose. And it's great to have a show with those ladies because they have their views and they put up with me. And I'm a cantankerous old F every once in a while. So but they put up with me. But the great thing is that I have them to bounce ideas off of, and it's great doing the shows with them. OG, it's good to do shows with OG because he has that long time knowledge as well. And again, hopefully we'll do some things together soon. But OG's gotta get a little bit more positive about what's going on. And as soon as that happens, we'll be back doing shows every other Tuesday with OG, or every other Tuesday. So it'll be the lady, was it Silver and Black Ladies Night, with the ladies. And then hopefully OG will pick that up. If not, then I will have an uncensored show every other Tuesday if I do that by myself. Because one thing I have learned is that since I work for a network, although it's not really large, but I have to watch my mouth, and I cuss a hell of a lot. But because I work for the Northeast Streaming Sports platform where we do Roku, they said, Cap, we love what you're doing, but you can't cuss. I said, okay. So when I'm doing the shows that are on Roku for Northeast Streaming Sports, I don't cuss, or actually I try not to. And I think maybe I might throw an S word out there every now and again. But I noticed that people said, Cap, we enjoyed when you were throwing F-bombs every 5 seconds because I was pissed off at something, but I can't do that anymore. So I'm thinking that maybe every other Tuesday, if I don't pick up back up with OG, that we will have a uncensored show every other Tuesday during the season, so I can just go off and be my normal self. Because it's funny, if I get on a show with Graphic, or if I get on a show with any of the other guys, oh my God, I'm brain farting names out in LA, and with you, I curse like a mofo. But notice I'm not cursing because that you can control your mouth if you want to.
Exactly.
I agree. I have the same issue where I've had to work in the professional realm for years, and just cursing just wasn't allowed. Because where I just put it this way, you record it with everything you say. So you have to be careful with what you say and do, and everything can be held to that accountability. And that's why I do my workout show. That's the one reason why I wanted to start it, because I get frustrated on YouTube. And sometimes, you just want to go off and just really tell somebody off, or you just want a tough loss, and you just want to go in here and just, be a bad fan. And one thing I guess I want to bring up, and I'll pass the mic over to Holly here, but, you talked about positivity and negativity. I have my own perspective of how I perceive what is a positive fan, what is a negative fan. I'm curious to see, Jack, what's your perception of, or what do you identify as a Raider fan when you look at them and you're like, man, and it's not have to bring up any specific names, of course. I don't want to have to point anybody out, but just when you see and you think in your mind, you're like, damn, that is a really negative ass Raider fan, or you look at that person like, yeah, that person's thinking really positive. What are some of the defining factors for you?
Well, first off, I mean, and again, I'm not throwing out any names, other than, I like OG. I mentioned OG by name, and not, no offense to OG, but OG right now is not happy with what things that are going on that I kind of alluded to when you were talking about, what's going on with the present, ramifications of the Raiders being
Right.
Patriots West. Okay. And I hate
Yeah.
saying that, but that's about the way it is. And, OG and I get along swimmingly, great guy, but I can't do a show with somebody that's negative about everything that's going on in the building, because I aspire to be analytical. I can be positive. I can be negative too, but I'm not going to sit and just rip everything down and do it consistently about X, Y, and Z. I'm going to try to see the positive aspects of everything, because again, I mean, health wise, I got a bad ticker. And if I'm not positive about things, then the negativity that's in your head gets to your heart and it causes health issues. And I don't want any of that. And so
Yeah.
again, I'm not saying that we're not going to be 17-0 or 19-0. I mean, those people are on crack, and they need to submit themselves for a urinalysis immediately.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
said, look at the positives of what we can do. And like I said, love Daniel, aka OG, and hopefully good health for all of the people that need the better health. But I can only do what I can do, and that's say I'm going to see what's in front of me. I'm going to look at it analytically, because that's what I do for a living. I'm going to make the
Yeah.
positives and the negatives and what we can do better. And when we F up, oh my God, I will say that was effed up and that was effed up. And oh my God, we need a new quarterback. And by the way, we got one. Okay. And they
Right.
say, well, oh my God, well, Jimmy Garoppolo is injury prone. I'm like, historically, yes. But we don't know what's going to go on this year. And we need to find out what's
Yeah.
going to go on this year. We need to see what is in front of us. And we got the whole season in front of us, and everybody's saying, like, well, Jimmy Garoppolo sucks, and he's going to get injured like when he goes out for the coin toss in week 1. Okay, well, that's just negative.
Yeah.
I agree with
Yeah.
you. That
Predicting the
I'm
future. Yeah, I hear you.
I like positivity as well. I don't know about you, but like the whole like negativity, it like affects me mentally, and I already have mental issues, and I don't want to bring it up even more. So I'm always on that positive side until they show me something different.
Right.
Well, that's why I wanted to differentiate, or at least ask, what, because so my identification of a negative Raider fan is a little bit different than most people, just because I've seen the ones that will, after a loss, they go home and they hit their wife or their kids, or they get a DUI, they do something really, really stupid in their personal life, and they take it out of the realm of just giving their opinion. There's a difference from giving your opinion, because I can say the same things that certain people will say, but I'll preface it first and I'll say, look, I love the Raiders. I feel like this is the greatest team on planet Earth. I live and breathe for the team. I feel like I'm really concerned about the quarterback position. That's the difference from being a negative and a positive fan. For me, a negative fan is the people that manifest that negativity into their personal life, and then they start, like you said, they start being cantankerous and negative towards other people, and just because of their opinion. And if it gets to the point to where what they're saying, and like you talked about before, having a person that says we're going to go 5-12 doesn't mean that they're negative. If they can't back it up, then yeah, you don't have a point. You're just saying, hey, we're going to lose because I feel like we're going to be some losers. If you say, I think we're going to be 5-12 because we won 6 games last season, and that's going to be the same thing that we're going to see this next season, back it up with it. And I think that's what we all want to see from Raider fans. And if there's anybody that's out there that's looking at it and determine if they're negative or not, I would say just don't go and start manifesting the stuff that you do and say on here in your personal life. This is what this is here for. YouTube, the chats, IG has got me out of a lot of personal issues with the Raiders that I would have otherwise manifested myself in my personal life, you know. But I get you on that. I have a short fuse when it comes to people talking about my team, period. You know, and I always question the ones that say something about it. And for me, I had to take a step back after a while because I was really getting upset, and I wouldn't want to deal with people that had something bad to say. But then I realized it was me. It was me. I couldn't hear it. I couldn't hear any of that negativity, and I had to hear some of it to be able to put myself in a reality check too. So I was curious
No,
about that, man. Thank you.
I got you. I want to make a point as well. And when
Yeah.
I get a chance to see Violator after the games, there is
Uh-huh.
nothing that pisses him off more. And I've seen it too because I'm the same way. There's nothing that pisses off Violator and myself more is somebody that says, "Oh, okay, well, it's just a loss." You
Yeah.
know, it's
Yeah. It's
like
not just a loss.
it's not. No, it's like we take losses. I'm not going to do belabor the point, but it's kind of like a death in the family. You know,
Yes, man.
for the
Yes.
rest of that
Yes.
day, we don't want to hear anything about, well, okay, there's always
No.
next week. Okay. And we're not going to sing The Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow because we know the words from Annie. Okay. We get it. Okay. Yes, it will. But, ignorance is my biggest push button. You could say anything you want as long as you know what the hell you're talking about. When you're ignorant,
Exactly.
it gets me almost ready to throw fists.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
obviously, I don't ever want to do it. Like you said, the negative Raider fan, you don't want to ever put hands on somebody. You got to have a really good reason to put hands on somebody. And normally, the reason is still not good enough. But the ignorance is my push button. And if you want to see me get really pissed off, be ignorant and say something ignorant and not have the knowledge to back it up.
There you
So
go.
I get it.
Exactly.
And like I said, when Violator, we'll meet each other after the game sometimes because we'll walk out and people will say like, "Well, hey, it's just a game, man. We'll be there next week." These are people that don't get it.
Mm-mm. No, you're putting your finances up with the team, you know, and you're putting money up. And I know Violator, I don't know him personally, but I've read his story, and I know that for years he would travel to the home games from SC, from Southern Cal, you know, and a lot of fans are like that. They put a lot of their own personal money, taking money out of their own personal income to be able to put towards this team. It's a lifetime commitment to a lot of these guys, you know?
Hey, Kush, for sure. Do you guys know where I live?
No, sir, we don't.
I live
I
in Tampa, Florida.
I was gonna say
I
you
thought
live
it
in
was that
Florida, but I
yeah.
didn't know what
I
city.
think
Yeah,
thought it was someplace near that.
I
Yeah.
live in Tampa, Florida. I have season tickets. And I mean, I'm not saying, "Oh, look at me and give me a pat on the shoulder, yada yada. I'm great." No, what I'm saying
Sure.
is that this is an investment in my time, in my money, in my life of what I do because I love it so much. Okay. So when I go and do these events, when I went out to the draft in Kansas City, or when I go to the TMBC party in the Dallas area, or when I would go out to Raider Nation Explosion out in Madeira in July, okay, or any other event that I get a chance to go to, it's an investment because people seem to think that I live in California or Arizona or Nevada, maybe even Texas. Oh, well, he doesn't travel that far. It's always an away game for me. There is one home
Wow.
game that I get every 8 years, and that's here in Tampa. And that'll happen in 2024. Every other game is an away game. Okay. So I invest my time and my money and everything that goes with it with the team. That's why, I take it as seriously as I do, but I still understand. And I used to be that guy. I used to be the guy that would be bent. I remember being on a ship
Right.
in the middle of the North Arabian Gulf, or actually the North Indian Ocean, because we were off the coast of Pakistan. And I saw the
Okay.
touch rule game live, and I knew we were going to get screwed. And I was on an aircraft carrier bombing Osama bin Laden and all of the crew that was over there in Afghanistan at the time. But the guy, and I was a chief petty officer on the Theodore Roosevelt, and when the Raiders got screwed in the playoffs, the senior chief, the guy I worked for, because I was temporarily assigned to that ship, the senior chief of the ship told everybody in the intel center, he said, do not talk with Chief Levy for a couple days. Just stay away from him. Just stay away from him until he talks with you. And it took about 3 to 4 days for me to gain my presence again because I was so mad. I actually put my fist through the couch in the Chiefs mess of seeing how we got screwed on the tuck rule. So again, I was that guy. But I've mellowed a little bit over the years. But again, the senior chief told the entire division, don't talk to Chief Levy because Chief Levy will probably bite your head off if you don't give him some time. So I respect the fact that they knew better. And I still, I mean, when there are games that I see that we get screwed real bad, it does take a bit for me to wind down. That's when I have a lot of the shows where when I was cursing on the shows, boy, I tell you, the shows where I curse get a lot of views because I go off on things like that. That's why I want to do some emotion. I'm sorry, what was that?
It's that raw emotion, man. People can feel it.
Yes.
It's that raw emotion of upset. They want to see it. They feel alive when they see that. It's like a cup of coffee for people viewing that, you know?
Yeah, I show a lot of empathy, but you know, I have to watch my mouth. But if I tell you what, if I do a show and I don't have to worry about it being on the broadcast, oh my God, boy, you will see me straight up. You know, every other word is probably F, and F.
Yeah.
You know, you would think that F is a noun, a verb, a pronoun. A adjective. It's every language in the book. That's what F is.
Well, you were a Navy guy, so I think hearing that I have to thank you for your service. I was a vet as well.
Yes.
I was an Army medic, so I served in the same region of area that you probably were at in that time frame too. So man, thank you for your service. And cursing is something that I was an infantry medic, right, for a long time, and that just became inherent as part of our personality. When I'm talking to people and give them an IV, if I didn't curse every other word, that was, improper communication. You get written up for that type of stuff. Growing up in the military, I know that it was different for me being a Raider fan because you see so many different people that come in and out of the bases that you work at. And it sounds like I said, you were a diehard Raider fan even in the military. How was your experience with that? Did you meet any other Raider fans? I'm sure you did. And what were your interactions with those folks that you met in the Navy that were Raider fans?
Well, actually, and again, I lived in Philadelphia as a kid because I am a Philly. I'm a Philly guy. Love my Flyers, love my Phillies. I'm not a big basketball guy, but I used to like the Sixers and the Warriors because the Warriors were originally from Philly. So, I that's what my basketball roots, but I am Philly through and through, but I am a Raiders guy over everything. So we would move, but I kept my Raider fandom no matter where I was. So when I was able to go to my first Raider game, it was in San Diego. I was stationed out there and walking into Jack Murphy, because that's how old I am. It wasn't Qualcomm. It was still Jack Murphy Stadium. Walking into Jack Murphy and watching the Raiders beat the Garglers, because I have my pet names for all the teams, and coming out with a victory. In fact, I still got the ticket stub from that. I think I had Dan Fouts was on the ticket stub. But this was in 1990. Was the first time I got a chance to see them live, which is why I go over to people. I said, hey, if you're able to go to games, that's great. But just because you go to games doesn't make you a bigger fan than somebody who doesn't. because somebody might not have the
100%.
opportunity to go to games. So
100%.
fandom is what you make out of it. So if you go to games and you go to a lot of games, that's great. But you're not a better, bigger fan than somebody who watches them on TV, because it's how true you are to your team. But anyway, when I saw them in San Diego for the first time, that was wonder, because again, it was practically a home game, as San Diego as often is with Raider games. And, and then walking into Oakland for the first time and watching the Raiders in Oakland, because I got a chance to see them when I was in the Navy and in different places that I was stationed at. I'd go on trips, and I remember, the first time I went to Buffalo years and years ago, and the first time I went to Tennessee, or the first time I went to Houston, and I met Amanda, Black Widow. God, I don't want to say how many years ago, because she'll be pissed off that people think she's really young, but she's younger. But yeah, I've known Amanda for many, 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 many years. In fact, the people call her my daughter, but that's an inside joke because, we were wearing the same pirate things. But, watching them on the road was great. But walking into Oakland for the first time and watching a Raider game, and I'll be honest, I went to many Oakland games, and it took years, and that's with an S. It took years for me to see my very first win in Oakland. So,
Wow.
it like I said, but I still went. I was still dressed, and people got a chance to hang out and see me and whatnot. And I don't know how many people remember. But people say, "Oh, I remember you were blah 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 blah." I'm like, okay, well, cool. I appreciate that, but it was. I've been dressing for over 20 years. But it's taken. But a lot of times people saw me. It was in Raider games that weren't in Oakland, because it took me a while to get out to Oakland. But I've been dressing my persona. Let's see, it's 23. Yeah, over 20 years. Over 20 years.
Wow.
So what do you think about Tom Brady being part of the Raiders organization now?
When that news came out, especially that I live here in Tampa, home of the fake Pirates.
Yes.
And Tom Brady is actually a swear word on my show. When I would say, you can't, primatama, or at most I will call him TB12, which is the closest I would come to saying his name. But I mean, now that he's finally retired, I will say his name. But I will say this: when the Raiders had the option of picking up Brady before he went to the fake Pirates, okay, I told people, I said, I do not want him as my quarterback. I do not want him as my quarterback, dating back to the time to the Tuck Rule. And actually, by the way, I've only seen the Tuck Rule game twice. When I saw it live, and then I think in COVID, they had an NFL Network showed the game again, and I watched it again. And I noticed, by the way, that the scoreboard had the field goal go in before the field goal was actually through. Did you guys ever notice that? If you look up at the scoreboard for the Tuck Rule game, they put the 3 points on the board before they even had the field goal that won the game.
No, I didn't see that. Now I'm going to have to go back and watch it because
Yeah.
of
You
what
just
you
gave
just
everybody
said.
a little gem. Yeah, that's a gem right there, man.
Yeah, I mean, because I watched the game. I've only seen it twice. One time live and then one time on NFL Network. But if you look at the scoreboard, before that field goal goes through, they had the 3 points on the board for him.
Wow.
But I'm sorry. There was a question that again, Captain Jack stories. I diverge
I love them.
and
love
get
them.
off the main road. What were you talking, Kush, or
We were
uh,
just talking. You were still good. We were talking about Brady. We were talking about.
Yeah.
oh,
like
great,
how
thank you.
he's-
See, there you go. Now I'm back. Now I'm back to where the point was. Okay.
I got you, Jack. I got you, man. You good?
I honestly, If Tom Brady, and again, I can say it now that he's just a regular civilian with a bunch of money. If Tom Brady wants to be a part of the Raider organization because he's got millions of dollars to throw around and he's bored, okay? I don't have as much of a negative view. I don't like it, but by the same token, it might be something good because then maybe because he has that name, maybe one of these days the NFL will finally give us breaks. Because if Tom Brady is a portion of the organization, maybe they would start, you know, calling games correctly.
Do you have any hard feelings towards him?
Oh yes. Oh, I can't stand him.
You hear that? You hear that, Nation? So look, this is what I heard. I heard a man that is a 50-year Raider fan. He's certified gold jacket Raider fan. In my opinion, you do a 50-year bid on a Raider team, man. You've seen a lot of craziness. He said that he absolutely hates Tom Brady and would love the idea. Or am I out speaking? Am I speaking wrong? You said you would enjoy the idea or love the
I know.
idea.
I would accept. I would accept. Yeah, I don't say I would love to have Brady as an owner, but I would accept it as some dude who has a lot of money and he wants to and be involved in a franchise that he knows is one of the best in football. I would accept that. I wouldn't like it, but I would accept it because I don't like him personally. And I'll tell you why. Because when he went to the podium after the Tuck Rule game, and he had this big, I'm going to say an S word, he had this big shit-eating grin on his face when they asked him the question about the fumble. And he said, oh, no. We knew it was the Tuck Rule immediately. You are a lying sack of shit, Tom Brady, okay? Because you walked off the field with your head down, trotting slowly because you know you had just lost the game. And for you to sit at the podium and tell people otherwise, you are a lying sack of shit. I'm sorry. I had to use the S word on that.
No, you're good. You're all good, brother. You're all good. Let it out.
Yeah, you're good. You're good, Captain.
It's all about you. It's great to hear your perspective about it because you hear on the radio, some people listen to like Raider Nation Radio. I listen to it a lot. Other YouTube channels, I listen to everything. And the narrative that's written is that, there's a lot of Raider fans that don't want to see it. A lot of Raider fans that do want to see it. So it's always good to just hear it straight from the real ones and see what our thoughts are about it. The one thing I'll say too is, a lot of people don't understand all of the things that Tom Brady actually owns that's in Vegas, on top of being a owner with the Aces and his friendship with Mark Davis, he was going to come and be our QB, but now he made that chess move and not the checkers move. He said, I'm not going to be the QB. I'm going to be, a limited partner. And he also owns a piece of fighting for the UFC events that's going and sanctioned in Vegas. Back in, I think, 2017, his WME partnership enabled him some shares into a limited partnership into the UFC, which was the company that bought out the original group of the UFC that we currently see now. So he was a part of that acquisition. He has a resort or an attraction within a casino at the Wynn. So right now, you can go and book opportunity to go and get treatment, a one-on-one consultation with Tom Brady's trainers and figure out what's going on with your body. And then when you come back to a Raider game, you can come back there and you can see how the results are since the last time you've been to a game or you've been to Vegas and talked to the counselors. They give you one-on-one meal plans and diet and consultation. And if you're just hungover and let's say you tied one on a Saturday and we have an early game at 10 a.m., you can go there and book an appointment and they'll get you, when I say back to fresh, I'm talking about hydrated, quick little workout and your food.
So on top of all that, he also, like I said, owns a piece of the women's basketball team, who is the WNBA champs. He also has a piece of DraftKings partnership where there's NFT creations for players, and not just players, but also UFC fighters. So he owns the UFC. He's creating these digital baseball cards that are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars as well. That's sanctioned through a legal gambling app that will allow you to be able to say, do you want to cash out? Or you can go and buy this King Griffey NFT card for a limited edition price if you don't cash out. And so he's making cash over fist with that now. So this is a guy that when we look at Mark Davis, he's an older guy, and I don't see him popping out any kids anytime soon. So, the question is, who's going to take over the Raiders? Who's going to be, the next person to take over? I don't know how old Mark is, but he's not getting any younger, folks. So this may be one of those chess moves that we could see, but he hasn't even signed the paperwork yet. We'll see. But just wanted to make sure we, at least put some spotlight on that as to what all Tom Brady has been up to, because I've been noticing it, and I respect it.
Well, one thing I can tell you as well, and you laid it out, okay? The guy has millions of dollars. He's got all the time in the world. And let me ask you both a question. Can you do anything about it? Not a
No,
damn
sir.
thing.
Nope.
We just sit back and watch.
Right. And there are things that you can control, and there are things that you can't control. And what is it? You need to take the wisdom to know the things you can change, the things you can't change, and move on. I know I'm
Exactly.
paraphrasing it, but that's about the way it is. There are things that you can control, things you can't control, and know the wisdom to know the difference between the two, and keep on
Yep.
trucking.
Yep. Exactly. I think that if he becomes a limited partner, this may be the move that if we look back on in 10 years, 20 years, when, we have new ownership and maybe he is here, and we look back on it and we will be cash heavy. I look back. Have you heard the Mike Mayock interview, Jack?
I read a transcript or two.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, is that basically John had like the first 3 or 4 of the rounds, and then he came in and had like the bottom tier of the rounds. But now again, this is the other thing about he said, she said. Who's going to check him on that? He can say X, Y, and Z, but we won't know what the truth is until maybe we get with Gruden. Because again, people were saying that that the reason why the Raiders sucked for as long as they did under Gruden was because Gruden had all the draft picks, or the fact that Gruden picked Cleve Farrell. But if that's true, then that means that Mayock picked Max Crosby. So that's one of those things about we don't know.
Bro,
But from
you
what I
got
understand,
You got
is
to
that
check it out,
he
man.
is that Gruden picked the first couple rounds, and then Mayock had the rest. If I'm not
oh,
mistaken.
brother, you got to check it out after this. I will urge you to do that. I thought the same things going into it. It's the interview with Chris Long. We're talking about, Nation. If you guys don't know, I believe it's Howie Long's son, and Mike Mayock did an interview with him about 2 weeks ago. I would urge you guys to go and check it out. I came into the podcast or the interview seeing some of the
Snippets of it.
and I thought the same thing, man. So this is the deal. The Cleveland Farrell pick was 100% Mayock, because he said that he was going back and looking at Howie Long tape, and he said, we can make this guy into Howie Long. And he said nonstop, he just kept showing videotape to Cleveland and kept of Howie Long tape and saying, look, you're going to be our Howie Long, and I want you to talk to him. And so he also talked to Max. They said they saw Max. He said, we see a lot of potential with this guy. He said they were fully aware of the partying that he did, the extracurricular activities, off the field and drinking and stuff. But he also said that, he said, and I don't want to ruin it for you guys, but just to give it context, he said, when it came down to who would make the draft picks, he said in most war rooms, the head coach would give a suggestion, but ultimately the decision would come down to the GM. And he said that's in 95% of most NFL locker or NFL war rooms. He's like, I can't say that was the situation with us. So he basically was like, look, it all came down to Drew. If Drew wanted that pick, but it sounds like he was really pushing for the Cleveland pick. And then also he talks about how just not meeting the expectations of being the number 4 overall pick just burned a hole in the soul of Cleveland Farrell. We all knew that, but hearing it from Mayock was very intense because he's a guy, he reminds me a lot of yourself, Jack. Honestly, man, he's a Philadelphia guy, I believe, or East Coast dude. He talks
Yeah, he's
about
from
the
Philly.
importance of, yeah, man. He talks about the importance of, admitting when you fuck up, man. And he said, look, I made mistakes. He's like, but the 3 years that I was there, he's like, I loved it. I learned a lot. He even talks about what he did after the draft and how he was able to get his mind back together because it was so mentally exhausting when he was dealing with, the different personalities in there. And he has some stories about, I mean, he really doesn't hold back. So I would say, check that one out, you guys, if you haven't seen that one. I learned a lot, and I was sitting there having my popcorn, just having a good ass time.
Well, the one thing I can say about Cleve Farrell is that the defensive line at Clemson that year, they had
Mm-hmm.
3 first-round picks, and then the other one went in like the second or third round. The entire D line at Clemson was just a machine that just did well together. And yeah, Clee was picked high, but again, he was picked off of promise, what they thought his potential could be. And no, he
Yep.
didn't make it. And would it have been better if we had gotten the kid from Kentucky that went to Jacksonville? I can't remember
Yeah,
his
yeah,
name.
yeah.
Same
They're
name as
talking
the
about
quarterback.
Josh Allen.
Yeah, Josh Allen. Yeah, same name as the quarterback, but not the quarterback. Would
Mm-hmm.
we have been
Yep.
better? Maybe so. But you know what? At that time, everybody can pick a lot, 2020 hindsight after the fact, okay? But
Yep.
that's what they wanted Clee to be. And again, I'm not anti-Clee Farrell. I'm not. But, did he perform up to the capabilities of what they envisioned for him? No, he did not. And Clee will tell you that himself. But he played well. He didn't play up to what we thought he was going to be. But I'm sorry to see him go. And another reason why I'm sorry to see him go is that when I saw Clee in New York at one of the bars that the New York fan base was at, he saw me and he said, "Dude, I got to get a picture with you." And so Clee Farrell comes out from behind where he's doing these autographs and he takes a selfie with me. And I wish I can get a hold of Clee because that would be one selfie that I would love to get.
Oh man, heck yeah! Of course you want to get that one, man. That's the best picture right there with the big fella. I got a lot of
That's
love for
awesome.
him, man. After hearing that interview, though, he really talked about how he understood what it meant to be a Raider, and he tried his damnedest to live up to the embodiment of it, at least. And he was molded to become, our Howie Long, or at least that's what Mayock saw. And they also talk about Hunter Renfro. I heard a funny story real quick about that. And I forget who it was that was our slot corner Joyner, Lamarcus Joyner. It was the
Right.
same year that we picked up Lamarcus Joyner. And I guess the Hunter Renfro pick was all Mayock as well. He said he loved the Clemson guys, and he was begging. He's like, "Come on, man, we got to get this guy. We got to get this guy." And so Gruden saw the tape. He said he finally got Gruden to agree to it. And he said the first couple of days of camp, like Lamarcus Joyner was just in his grill, just tearing up Renfro. And Gruden looked over at Mayock and was like, "Dude, like, really? Like, this is what we got?" And then one day it was like, boom, Renfro comes out there like the next week, just start doing all that stuff, those moves that he's doing in college and being comfortable. And after that, he couldn't be stopped. They said every cornerback they put on him, he would just cook them. He would cook them.
Yeah, it'll be nice to see if Hunter is around after June 1st, because I have a very sneaking suspicion that he's either
Me
going to
too,
be
brother.
cut or traded away.
That's why I'm giving him his praise now, so we can get high value for it. See what I'm doing here? I'm trying to get some high trade value for him, man. I'll take a linebacker right now. What do you think if we have a positional need right now? Speaking of that, mine obviously I let the cat out the bag for me is linebacker. But both of you guys, what do you guys think is our biggest positional need right now?
Holly, go ahead. You want to answer that first? I'll take a stab at it.
I believe linebackers, actually. Linebackers is what we need so bad.
Okay, I would say that because people don't see what the coaches see. I think that that hole on the right side is going to be taken care of adequately, and I'm talking about the right side of the offensive line. Either with, I think that Kit Mumford is going to be that guy. I think that Illuminor is going to be a swing tackle or plug in guard. I can actually envision that the one kid that we picked up as a UDFA is going to be one of the guards this year, because God knows we need a better guard than Bars. And I think
Oh,
that
yeah.
ultimately Parm is going to slide over to center, and we're going to have two new guards by the end of the year, and James might not be center by the end of the year. And because I think that Parm is better suited as a center than he is as a guard. Maybe they slide James over into that guard spot until they figure things out, or we'll see in training camp what happens. But I still see that we need a defined corner. We picked up a lot of guys in free agency that may hit the spot. I really believe that the kid that we picked up, the rookie out of Maryland, is going to be a starter by the end of the year. And yeah, I just think that we've done so well on the defensive line, in the interior and the exterior at the rush end. Yeah, linebacker is a need, but like I said, depending upon the scheme, it might not be as much of a need as people think, because it depends upon what scheme that they're going to be running on the defense. Again, if you're running a 4-2-5 or 3-2-6 as the majority of your defense, yet the linebackers are not as important if portion of that back end kind of is like that tweener linebacker defensive back that you need. And that's what they drafted Diablo for. That's what they drafted Amari Burney for. And I know the kid because he's a Gator and I'm a Gator. I think that we got a very good person in that respect with him. So yes, linebacker might be a need, but not as much of a need as people think, depending upon how they play the defense. Up. Did we lose Kush?
No, I'm listening. I
Okay.
just wanted to leave that for a dramatic pause. I like that, brother. That was good. That was good. Um, I think that when we look at the defense right now, it's not a finished product either.
No.
We still have a lot of time. I think that we're going to see some transactions. We're going to see some signings. I did see that we signed another wide receiver, which makes me wonder what's going on in that room, But I just, like I said, whatever they're doing right now, I just want to see. We're not a finished product yet, so I can't wait for training camp to begin and to see what really sticks around on this roster. I do like the big fella from Texas Tech. I think that his looking at the one thing that concerns me is just his Liz Frank injury. I want to get him back on the field as fast as possible. But Tyree has, that foot injury, which is very concerning for some people. I saw the letter from, Dr. Andrews. It sounds like he's giving him, the gold star standard of recovery. But before this interview started, I was just, doing me, just always researching stuff. And I looked up the list of players that have had, Liz Frank injuries in the past.
Oh, how
That's
about
the one.
McFadden and Ford for
I
two?
was about to say it, bro. Yeah, man, exactly, bro. That's the one that comes up first, you know. And I know me and you, I'm pretty. I don't know if Holly probably saw that era too, because I know my girl is a Arkansas fan, so she knows all about our boy McFadden, man. And you know, we can't say nothing too bad about him in Holly's presence. But
I
man,
love him.
he wasn't the same after that, you know, and
Right.
that's really concerning when you have a 6'7" guy that really depends on his feet, and he's gonna have to really support get guidance and support from the guys that's on that D line this year. So I urge the nation to, you know, don't judge him this year. Let's give him some time. He's going to be coming into a situation where he's going to be student, you know, in his first year. I believe. I would love to see playmaker, but I want to see him learn, because if we're looking at him long term, he gets a second contract. We would be talking about this. We're all going to be talking about the same thing, saying, "Hey, why didn't he, you know, sit back and study and learn more from the people that were there now?" You know, and I think he has the best environment to be able to learn and be successful.
For sure. And again, you can't fault the pick because you can't predetermine injury. Can't predetermine injury.
Right.
And he
Right.
did good
Exactly.
before he got injured. I mean, he did phenomenal. And that unrestricted free agent, he is from Arkansas. That guard, I do believe his name is Dylan Wagner.
Yeah, 6'8", 6'7", about
Hey,
325,
you
340.
you can't coach or teach speed or size.
Exactly. Said for the people in the back. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that. I mean, the one thing that we've learned is we need help on the O line. I think that there's, you know, people that call themselves experts that'll say, "Hey, you know, this O line was great." My question is, was it number one in the league? No. Okay. Well, they say, well, we have the number one rusher. Yeah, but why can't we have the number one rusher by, you know, X amount of yards? Because if we look back on tape, we all can identify things that the line could work on. Which I'm not knocking the line. I think that they did the best of what they could. You know, they were addressed with. But this year we have an opportunity to get some real good UDFA's that might be able to stick around on the defense, the O line, and then maybe even in the secondary.
Yeah, I mean, and there's so many players that make your team go that are guys that are not drafted, and that's why I keep saying that this year, as long with last year, Ziegler and McDaniels were putting cogs into the machine, and the machine is a summary and a compilation of all of the cogs. You got to have all the cogs working up to their full potential, and you got to have spare parts, i.e., the guys that are on the bench, to throw in there when one of the cogs gets injured or isn't working up to adequately. You got to throw another cog in there, and I think that is why, that as long as you can see the team getting better, if you see the team ascending, I would say anything over 7 wins is a victory. And even if you don't get it, if the team is coming together and you don't have the cancerous outbursts that were rumored to be in the team last year, and 2 of those people are gone, and I'm not going to have to name names because it's very obvious who they are.
Yep.
But 2 of the people that were portions of the problem have been removed from the equation. So you got to make sure that the team that is a compilation of all of the 53 plus the other guys that are there on the practice squad and whatnot. You got to make sure that the machine is capable, and hopefully that machine stays healthy, and you will see a positive influx in year 2. This is the key year in the regime, and that's why I said I want to get to the end of the year. I want to see the positivity. I want to see the improvement. And Katie bar the door, you get another draft, and you get another era of free agency next year. And oh, by the way, I think you lose about 20, if not, I think it's 25 million in dead cap of guys that are no longer on the team. That comes off the books at the end of this year. You're going to be able to spend freely next year and just get those guys that are needed at that time. So you remember, we have, like I said, at least 25, might even be up to $35 billion in dead cap that was for people that are not even on our team.
Right. That's a scar that's there, that's an expensive scar that's still there, that's paying for these guys' families for a while, like you said. What where do you see the team in the next 5 years?
Well, they better win the Super Bowl in the next 5 years, because I don't know how much longer I'll be able to kick around.
Right. I hear that. Yeah, that goes for all of us.
Yeah. And the reason why I say that is because everybody in the AFC West, except for one team, has 3 Super Bowls. And obviously the Chiefs have the most recent, 2 almost back to back. Okay. Denver is kind of like us. Their Super Bowls are ancient. And I want to be a Super Bowl winner, so that makes us the more recent one, and it gives us one more than everybody else. And I want to see that. And I like to see us be the perennial power that we used to be back in the days when the Raiders won the AFC West year after year after year. The Raiders won it, I think, 6 years in a row, which was the record, before Kansas City won it at 7, and that's 7 and counting. And eventually they're gonna come off the perch, and hopefully it'll be us that'll kick them off. But it remains to be seen who's going to be the team that takes over the top of the hill. And it wanted to be us. And like I said, I want to live to see another Lombardi being presented to Mark Davis. And I want to see it in my lifetime, and hopefully another one after that.
You're giving me goosebumps. That means it's going to happen.
I hope so.
I want to see it.
How about the future of Raiders content creating? I mean, I'm pretty sure, like you said, you went from one platform on Facebook, sounds like on a group, and you were like, you know what, I'm bouncing, man. I'm leaving. I'm out of here. I'm gonna check out this YouTube thing. Who knows what's gonna happen? And it's obviously successful because we're all here having a conversation. Where do you see the future of this going to? And what how in the future do you think we're going to be communicating with each other? Is there any things that, from your perspective, like I said, from a veteran, from a person that's been a 50-year Raider vet, is there anything that you see that we're going to be going towards?
Oh, wow, that's a hell of a question, and kind of one I've not been prepared for. I would say that it's only going to get better, but it's also going to be very convoluted for the amount of people that come on and have a platform amongst the Raider fans, because there's a lot of us around right now, and there's only going to be more. And that's why I'd like to hopefully I find a niche, and that there are a lot of people that like I said, that have their portion of the pie. But like I said, there are people that do it professionally because that's what their job is. I'm not there yet. I'm hoping that I can retire one of these days and be one of those guys that can pump out 3 to 4 things a day as far as content. But until such a time that all my bills are taken care of and I've retired, that's not going to happen. I just hope that if I can remain a content creator on YouTube, that people find my takes entertaining, and that they will continue to find me entertaining. And if not, then hopefully I will still have a spot amongst Raider fans is, because not everybody knows Captain Jack. I mean, I honestly, I know people that don't know Captain Jack because when they'll come and say, "Come here, pirate, let's take a picture." I mean, they obviously don't know my name because I'm always, hey, pirate, And to me, there's only one pirate, really, and that was Oaktown. And I am the yin and the yang. Oaktown was Army. I'm Navy. He was black. I was white. He's West Coast. I was East Coast. We completed each other very well. But nowadays, when I hear, "Hey, pirate, come over and take a picture," I mean, they don't know me, and that's fine because I'd like to become more well known and say, "Hey, by the way, my name's Captain Jack. Great talking to you. By the way, I do shows on YouTube. Check it out, and hopefully more people will come on over and see this. And by the way, shameless plug: if you don't already have a subscription or at least a membership, or not a membership, a subscription, subscribe to my channel and become a member. And I try to entertain you for as a member of the Chiefs mess. And it's not Kansas City Chiefs. It's Chiefs as in like Chief Petty Officers mess on board my channel. And then there's regular ships crewmen. But come on over to Captain Jack Rackham on YouTube if you haven't already. I just went over 2,000 subscribers about a week or so ago.
Congratulations, brother. Congratulations.
Yeah, I appreciate that, but I'm at that level where I'm just at a little bit over 2,000, and then the next day I can be under again. So if you haven't subscribed, give me enough where I got a little bit of a leeway that I can always say, "Hey, I'm up at 2,000, and I want to continue getting more." Because what I'd like to do is, I got a lot of things here in my room. And I'm going to give away, like I said, I think at the 2,500 mark, I think I'm going to give away like an autograph picture of somebody. And maybe at the 5,000 mark, if I get the 5,000 mark, I said I was going to give away a Marcus Allen helmet at 2,500. I'm probably going to push that back to like maybe the 5,000 mark. But the more people I get and the more people I know, I'm going to have things I'm going to give away. Why? Because I can't have all of this stuff in my room without it being put to good use. So tell people to subscribe and come on my show and have a great time with me. And when I get more people, like I said, Marcus Allen helmet is going to be given away. I'm going to give away a Tom Flores autograph picture one of these days. I got things that I got to give away. I got, like I said, I got my where is it? I think it was around here. Oh yeah, I got the Jack Daniels Vegas Raider thing here. That's part of the prizes that I have when you send in and give me like tips, or what do you call it, that I have. I'm going to have I spin the wheel, and yes, I've been remiss. I need to do a prize wheel one of these days. But I got a lot of things that I got, and I got to give them away because they're literally just taking up space in my room.
That's awesome. Also, I have to tell you, once I get everything situated here on this channel with Kush, I'm going to be sending all the people that I interview something for, giving your time to me and Kush. So I asked OG what did he want, and he said one of those drinking glasses. And Dirty said that he wanted the sweatshirt. So I'm asking you, what would you like?
Honestly, honey, as of right now, I can't think of anything that I want. And because I've enjoyed spending time with y'all, and if I have something that I want, I'll let you know. But honestly, I got so much stuff, I don't need anything else. And the fact that I'm spending time with you guys is wonderful. But did you see my room?
Yes, I love your room.
Yeah, like I said,
that is a dream. That is a dream of mine. I'd be in heaven right there.
But like I said, does it look like I need a lot more things?
Right. You sure don't. That's for sure.
No, But yeah, I mean, I'm just asking if you, because I love that you guys get to come on and we get to know you on a personal level. And I love hearing your stories. It's really nice. It just it I love it. I love it.
Well, one thing I can say is, and I'm not sure where y'all are. What I want, and maybe we can do this as well, is that send people over to my channel to be entertained. That'll be one thing, and then hopefully I'll get a chance to see y'all live so we can take pictures together. That's what I enjoy, is meeting the people that I get a chance to hang out with, and meeting them and taking pictures with them, and getting more personal with them, that I get a chance to actually see them live. That's all pretty much I want. Send folks over to my channel and tell them that come on over and bring some friends with them, because I want people over there, not because well, yeah, the channel grows, but it's because I like to entertain and I like to have more people interact, because my shows are better when I have more people interact. You can have me talk for 2 hours. I mean, yeah, it's a good show, but if I'm talking with somebody for 5 minutes or so, and then hopefully more people come in at 4 minutes or 3 minutes, it's very entertaining with the interaction. That's what I like, really, is more people coming on and hit me up, and we'll talk sports and Raiders for sure during the season, and come on over, and that I'll call it a good day on that day.
I love it. I mean, I can't wait for this season. I can't wait. I can't wait for all these shows to get back up and we can start watching you more and more. Well, I watch you a lot. I also watch my brother Kush. He's got that good workout show. I'm getting some guns myself.
Maybe when I get some time, I will show. I'm normally, like on the Wild Wild West show, I'll stand up and I'll like turn my ass to the crowd, and I'll be like a Jim Carrey. Let me ask you a question. I won't do that here, but maybe Kush can do something with his belly. That's all I can say about that. But most of that is diet and exercise.
Hey, if you can walk, then you can work out with me, and that's all I do. It's all about I do a thing just non or fasted, so I don't eat or anything on it, and I'll go out there and just get my walk on, So you're more than welcome. Make sure you subscribe and check it out too. Um, but if not, I do. If you do just think, hey, walking ain't for me, I got a little more in my system. I do have a challenge where you can earn something. I'm not going to give it away, but if you do over 10,000 push-ups before the season starts, I'll give you a specialized 10K gold Kush hoodie. And so that's up to you. I mean, if you want to do that one, we can do that for you too. But that's just a challenge. I'm a challenge guy.
10,000 push-ups I might do maybe before they put me in the dirt.
Deal.
And I would probably lose 10,000, right? Oh my God. I don't even think I could. I'd actually literally have to write 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 across, because I would lose track real well. But hey, the problem with push-ups with me is that big belly that you see kind of gets in the way. So it's kind of like a half push-up, because I'll be able to like clear it, but as soon as I go down, the belly hits before the arm gets a chance to clear. So it's unfortunate.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting there in my older age as well too. That's the main reason why I kind of do those. I get the push-ups in, and like I said, the reason why I did it, and started hitting the live button was because y'all was getting upset, from the Raiders and some of the stuff that I was seeing online, and so. But before we get out of here, like I said, I want to make sure that we just emphasize, how much we appreciate you taking your time out. I know you're on East Coast time too, and I do also know that you're also a night owl sometimes too, so you stay up late. But also want to just be, acknowledging your time. But before we get out of here, anything that you have not put out there on YouTube that you want people to know about you? I think that's the main reason why we wanted to bring you on today. Is we could talk ball all day, we can have panelists, and I did see you, Gabe. I don't want to be rude or nothing like that to Jack's time. We could talk and everything and ask questions all day, but really the basis of this show was just to bring on one person. That's why we call it uninterrupted. And we're just going to talk to that person and just, it's all about you, Jack. I don't know if you knew that or not, but surprise. It's all
Well,
about you. What,
the
what
people,
do you want people to know that we don't know?
I was going to say, the people that know me, as you guys have already figured out, I'm very, very introverted, and I have a problem breaking out of my shell. So sometimes,
Really?
I'm very, very shy. Of course not. Okay. I will talk way too much, way too often. That's why I need help when I use a point. And like I said, a Captain Jack story, you start on you start on the interstate, then you go to the state road, then you go to the county road, then you go to the dirt road, then you go to like a trail. And hopefully I'll get you back to the interstate, because sometimes I lose track, and I ask people to remind me what the hell my point was. But as far as that, I hopefully will be able to entertain and bring knowledge to people that ask. And I try not to be overbearing, but sometimes I am. But that's why I have to reel it in myself. But I do things with a positive thought in mind, and even people that piss me off, except for a few, there are a few that I will always maintain an FU grudge with, because I know that they are pieces of crapola. So I keep them in mind as well. But for the most part, if we have a difference of opinion, it's usually gone by the next day. We'll work it out, because that's the type of person I am. I said there are a few that are always in the perennial doghouse because they are pieces of crap, and that's just the way it is. But hopefully, I entertain, and I have positive thoughts for everybody, and that people will come in and hang out with me for a while. And again, I don't do this for a living. I work for the government for a living. And until such a time that I can retire, because I'm retired from the military, but I'm not retired from working. So one of these days when I'm retired from working, I'll just sit down and I'll do YouTube all day, and hopefully people will still come around and hang out with me.
Also, I have to ask you this question before we shut her down here. If you could see us interview anyone, who would you like to see?
Oh, well, I'd have to. You definitely need to get a hold of Violator, and Violator will be a great interview, because he's very candid like me.
Can we tell him that you sent us?
Yes, in fact, I will tell Wayne on Wednesday, when I do the show with him, that you guys will probably, pardon me, be reaching out to him. And Wayne is very tight on his time, but he gives his time to everybody, because he's done shows with a bunch of different people, and he's very free with his time as well, especially to people that want to learn about the Raider Nation and learn about his upbringings, whatnot. I will say this, and if you haven't done so already, let me go grab it here. Oh my goodness! Let's see. I got my. I don't see what's on camera right now. Okay. Make sure you get The Walk.
Wow. Yeah, yes.
Which is Wayne's book. Make sure you get The Walk. Look it up on Amazon. Get a hold of Wayne. IM him. Make sure you get his book, because that is one of the more great reads that you can have. And I got two of them, and they're both autographed, so I haven't broken the binders on them. I got a third one, which I will open up, because again, I keep, as you can see, they're pristine. There's no breaks in this binding, because I keep it as pristine as the day I got it, because they got the autographs in there. I can like peek open and open it up. But I've had a chance to know some of the excerpts of it. Great story. Go out and get The Walk. Join us on Wednesday during the season, NFL Nation Live, myself, Wayne, and Ref Guru. And then, of course, on Wednesdays with Wild Wild West, we got all 4 ASC teams represented. And just come on and hang out with me. It's nice to have people come in and talk football and talk shop. I get enjoyment out of it. And I'd rather talk with you than for me talking for 2 hours. And then I just, you don't want to listen to me talk for 2 hours.
I hear you there. I do enjoy coming in and hearing you just kind of rant by yourself sometimes. I must admit, like it does get pretty damn entertaining to me. I'll definitely, I feel more comfortable hopping onto your show now after talking to you, because I think I've hopped on you like, hey man, or I didn't hop on, but you're like, hey, get on the live, Kush. But I'm the type of person, I like to get to know what type of environment that you're setting and you're getting into. And I looked at your room, I'm like, okay, here's a lifelong Raider fan, and I loved it, man. I love the vibe that you create. It's very welcoming. And I'm gonna give you a shameless plug as well too. What is the best way for people to find you? Where would you want to direct all of your traffic? I know you talked about your Wild Wild West show, which I tap into. I love to see. Guys, if all of my followers right now on my channel, make sure you go and check it out. And what else do you got going on?
Well, like I said, I got my YouTube channel, which is Captain Jack Rackham, Rackem. Levy is my last name. So if you put that in there, you will get me on my YouTube. I do Instagram, which is captain.jack.rack.em. I do not do TikTok, and there's a reason why. I won't express it on here because I'm just saying there's a reason why, and of what I do for a living, and let's just leave it at that. Okay. But I do Instagram, exactly. I do Facebook, and I do most of the other. I don't do Snapchat because I'm too friggin' old for Snapchat. But I enjoyed the social platforms, and I'm out at the at the events as I can be. If there are things that I need to know about, if you are having an event, please let me know. I like to plug everybody that has the events as I can. And there you go. Yep. Well, yeah. Don't put the @ sign because that's like the but youtube.com/C/Captain Jack Rackham Levy. So there you go. Yeah, that looks about right there, Holly.
Gotcha.
Except instead of the @ sign, it's like youtube.com/C/Captain Jack Rackham Levy. Yeah, gotcha. If you get rid of that ampersand, it should be good to go. Midgets need love too. Hey, trust me, I can do midgets.
Man, I'll tell you what, our chat is crazy, Jack. We be having some inside banter that be going on in these chats, man. And I'll tell you what, I tell people all the time, look, are you a real Raider fan? Because I live out in the Pacific Northwest, and I see a lot of people that wear Raider gear out here. And I tell them, I say, hey, the best fans that you could find, the most educated and the most sarcastic fans are in the YouTube chats. Like there is nothing better than a live chat.
Yeah, and I was gonna say it's one question that wasn't answered and I forget. See, I remembered it after the fact. I used to have a big Raider logo on my spare tire, either on my SUV or on my Jeep when I had a Jeep at the time. And wherever you see the logo is when I've met people because they've seen the logo and they'll beep. Or on my truck, I had a picture of me on my truck, my old truck, because my new truck is just, Raider colors, but I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna trick it out for reasons that I won't get over here too. But it's a wonderfully awesome Raider colored graphite Ram 25. But I still have my plates. It says Captain Jack on both my trucks, either JCK or JAQ, but it's Captain Jack. But the thing is, whenever you see the logo, and I asked people, I said, are you wearing that Raider hat because you just got it, or are you a real Raider fan? And once you find somebody that says, I'm a real Raider fan, you have family there. It doesn't matter if they're white, black, Asian, Hispanic, any plethora of ethnicity. Doesn't matter if they're a man or a woman. It doesn't matter what other inklings they have. They're a member of the family, and we have a great family, and that's why I enjoy. I said the nation, and there is only one nation. So tell people that. Make sure that they remember that. When you have family and members of the nation, I'm a big hugger, and I give hugs to everybody and whatnot, and kisses as well. Hopefully I don't get a chick to like haul off and slap me across the face, but it's because I love the aspect of family, and that's just the way it is with me. So that's me to a T, man. You see what you get, and you get what you see.
Well, I can't wait to meet you in person because I'm a big hugger myself. So I am going to give you the biggest hug in the whole world. I already told Kush I was going to hug the shit out of him too.
I respond well. Like I said, I just don't want any significant others to be pissed off, but I give hugs right back.
I hear it. I love it. I think that is the best advice. We got to take that Ed off on the it's just a slash and then Captain Jack Rackham. But I think they're just copying and pasting it. So I think that's what's going on there, Captain. But yeah, I'm with you, Sinister. Everyone in here is family, and well said by you, sir, because this is coming from a person with over 50 years of Raider experience, being in this family, being a member, being uncle for a lot of us, and telling us how to be able to behave in the stadium, outside the stadium. And I got some positive vibes from you, Jack. I got some really good ones today, man. I really hope and pray that everyone that was watching and listening to this, man, and hopefully it changes the way that we interact with Raider fans with each other, because it really is a family, and family fights, but family argues, but family loves each other too, and they love each other unconditionally, and sometimes a little too much unconditionally. So we gotta break our conditions and get in better condition with how we treat each other, So yeah, with that being said, I think we're gonna shut her down. I really, really, from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate this. This was really last minute. That we did it on a Monday. We apologize to you, Jack, for not getting the time schedule out and trying to figure out for the week. But I'm glad that we had a chance to talk and tap in with you, and really get some insight from you, man. I really enjoyed that a lot. You just got a really, I don't know who's your number one fan, but I'm up there. I'm in your top like 5 or 6.
You can't forget me either.
I appreciate everybody that sends the positives my way, because I honestly can say that the people that keep positive thoughts of me in my condition, like I said, that one of these days I'm not going to be able to go out and do what I do, and that'll be a very sad day. But I keep going because I try to be mentally out there, and I want to be out there with everybody. But I continue to do this because of the positivity that I see with a bunch of different people, and it keeps me going.
That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. Holly, you guys need to make sure that you're following my sister Holly on her channel. This is this is 2 out of many, and we just got the recommendation from Jack, who we're also going to be talking to. We gonna hold you accountable to that. We heard about Violator.
Like I said, yeah. I have the greatest of intentions, but sometimes I forget. Keep hitting me up, and actually went and watch on Wednesday. Like I said, at 9:00 Eastern, we'll have the NFL Nation Live show. Hit up into that show, and this way you can say, "Hey, Jack was on our show the other night. Violator, we want to interview you next whenever you got the time." This way, I will try to hit him up in pregame, but I'm gonna be coming right from one show to the next, and sometimes the pregame or the pre-show is not as long as I want it to be. So make sure you hit that up. NFL Nation Live on my channel, Wednesday, 9:00 Eastern, 6:00 Pacific. we're going to be talking about the schedule release on that show. And of course, Wild Wild West will be preceding it on my channel as well. So come on over and have some good times with me there. And then you can talk with Violator in the comments section too.
I would definitely will.
I'm going to be there. I will be there. I will be there.
I will
for
be
sure.
there too.
Well, great.
Awesome. Well, we're going to get on out of here, guys. Thank you again, Jack, for taking your time out of your day to talk to us in your evening, it being so late out there on the East Coast. We will see you Wednesday. I will be back again tomorrow morning for the workout show, 9:05 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You have an invite to join as well, too, Jack. Just come on into the
Well,
chat.
I'll be at work then, hating life.
Oh, okay. No problem. No problem. We'll check it out when you get done. Holly, what's going on with you? How can people find you as well, sister?
Well, you can find me on Holly1Tanner on YouTube, or you can find me on Instagram, HollyTanner87. And I just have to say, just be positive, guys. And if you can, open up a door for someone, say hi, ask them how they're doing. That's my motto is just be kind to one another.
That's good. That's good advice.
That is. Well, salute, family. I appreciate you guys. Have a blessed evening. And as always, just win, baby.
Yeah.